What's up, everybody? Yeah, I don't know. It's going good for me. Um, I finally graduated my work training this yesterday. Starting Monday, I will be starting to do the mapping with one of the other girls that was training with me. So very excited about that. I don't know. Very excited about this job and see that it's finally taking off. Every day just reminds me more and more how much moving to Denver has changed my life, and the trajectory of where I'm going to be going it feels unstoppable at this point, really. Sucks that I'm waiting on paychecks. I moved out here with almost no money. That's a little crappy, but hey, humbles myself in the long run. Um, this last week was really interesting on my end. For me, it was. I went to Red Rocks, went to go on small 2 mile hike, nothing crazy. After that, I went to a CA convention, Cocaine Anonymous convention, and that was really cool seeing so many people share their experience, strength, and hope. Some people having years of sobriety under their belt, some people having, just even a few weeks, a few days, maybe even a few hours. Really beautiful to see that. The day after that, I went to a Buddhist temple this last Sunday. Cool experience. I picked up a few books, been looking through those. I want to check out a few other Buddhist temples. I just need to wait for paychecks to come through and get gas money before I start spending all my gas, though. And then after the Buddhist temple, later in the day, sorry, later in the day, I went and did a sweat lodge, which was an amazing experience. I believe I'm going to be going tomorrow also to continue that. So, yeah, really cool stuff here in Denver. Really cool. One of my friends, Bree, she moved from Denver literally the day that I moved out here. Life happens like that, right? But she's in town for the weekend, and she asked me, she's setting up a show, a rave, setting up all the speakers and stuff like that. And she asked me if I wanted to go. Told her I don't have any money, or else I would, but I would still love to see her. Bless her. I don't want to say bless her heart because that's like a terrible Southern phrase. I learned. Does not mean what you think it means. Love her to death, but she bought me a ticket just so I can hang out with her and see her at the show, enjoy the night. So that's what I'll be doing here in a couple hours. I'll be going to a rave, first rave in Denver. Very excited about that. A few names: Truth, Joker, Mala. I'm pretty sure I've seen Mala before, but I'm just excited to go rock out to some bass music. That's my shit right there. Um, that kind of goes into what I want to talk about today, though. The idea of self love, because I feel that's such an underrated thing that people don't talk about enough in sobriety, especially when you first get sober. If you're anything like me, self love was a hard thing. We're freshly sober. We're not using our vices that we used to use to ignore or feel. And we're left with all the pain and damage that we have caused in our whirlwind of shit that we. You guys know what I mean. Y'all know what I mean. It's something I really struggled with when I first got sober. And I feel like it's one of those really cliche Instagram, Facebook things that you see, oh, self love, roll your eyes at it, all that. And we need to practice more self love, especially in the sober living. So, being sober, getting freshly sober, just in general. It took me a long time to really stop having regrets or regretting all the terrible things that I did in my addiction, in my using for my entire life, and having to be sober minded and to literally focus on these things. It's part of the 12 steps, the fourth and fifth, just admitting to yourself, another person, and God every reason why you're mad, why you think the world has done you wrong. Freezing up, sorry. I got ADHD. I found that out actually. 2024, I should have looked over my paperwork a little bit more once I did my psych evaluation, but I found out that I have ADHD. I realized that over this last summer, looking over the paperwork. I mean, it totally checks out. ADHD is a lot more than just, oh, look, it's a squirrel, you know? I mean, brain's going constantly, trying to find some fix of dopamine, you know, trying to live for excitement, all that. And that is my brain constantly. One thing that's hard about my job is that I gotta stay focused 100% of the time. And I think that's why I'm so tired all the time from my work, even though it's so easy having just to sit down. Sorry, rant over. Back into self love. Self love comes in many, many different forms, you know. Took me a long time just to start learning how to love the person that I was looking at in the mirror. And it's such an underrated feeling. I was taking psych meds for about a year and a half, and I got off those back in early May. For the first few months, it was very, very difficult. You know, I'd get off from work, and then I'm at the house sitting there 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and just chain smoking cigarettes, just thinking like, "You're a piece of shit," you know. Just constantly still tell myself I'm a piece of shit, piece of shit. I've, you know, come to accept the things that I've done in my past, but I'm just stuck with, well, like, who am I now? And I still struggle with that. And it gets easier learning how to love yourself and take care of yourself. A few things that I do to just try to show myself that I love myself, that I'm worthy of stuff, I mean, is having standards, having boundaries. I see it all the time. People get fresh in sobriety and they just want someone to love on, you know. So many people, especially at that sober living program I was in, they're week sober, they don't have anything in their life, and they want to find a girlfriend, they want to find a boyfriend, you know, they have nothing to offer, and they're just going to fill that void, trying to fill that void in themselves that they're not going to find, sadly, you know. And I don't know. I'm guilty of that too. First girl I dated in the sober living, I was lonely, and I'm still a lonely person, but I was lonely, and this woman showed me attention, and that was enough to hook me on her, just because she showed me attention. And that was it, you know. I mean, we dated for about a month. She ended up relapsing out and strung me along for about 2 months, you know. And at one point, I was just like, you gotta stop contacting me. Just please stop. You know, I want you to get better, but I can't be here hoping, waiting that you're gonna come back and make a change for me. You know, they gotta make that change for themselves. And boundaries are such an, not underrated, but it's one of the most basic forms of self-love, you know, knowing your worth, knowing that you're not going to sell yourself short for somebody else is this big thing. Took me a long time to realize that, you know. And in my addiction, I was making people mad because of my lies and not having boundaries. And now I'm trying to find the fine line in between having boundaries and not people be mad at me, you know, for having boundaries. And it's such a weird feeling, you know, that you don't like something, you voice about, you make yourself or the other people aware about it. You don't like this, and then all of a sudden you're the problem for having self-respect. Amazing feeling, amazing. Another form of self-love is getting yourself into hobbies, you know, taking care of yourself mentally. I like I like to draw. I'm not good at it. I'm fucking terrible at it. I've been playing around music production since March about. Um, Little arts and craft hobbies, you know, playing my video games. That's been a bad one for me, honestly. Playing video games. That is a form of self-love, you know. You're taking care of yourself. You're making yourself enjoy something, you know. Buying yourself stuff. If you were anything like me when you first got sober, you had nothing. When I got to the sober living program in Branson, I had 2 bags, some hiking stuff, pair of hiking boots that I don't even use anymore for forestry, and a whole bunch of raggedy ass clothes. And the when Christmas came around, I didn't really have much money, so I didn't buy myself anything then. But Christmas of 2024, I splurged on myself a bit. Bought myself a bunch of stuff, you know, wardrobe, boots, just stuff to make myself feel good because I know what it was like to go without. And that's a very underrated feeling right there, too. I mean, just being able to get stuff for yourself, making yourself look nice, you know. And I'm not going to yuck anybody's yum when it comes to clothing, anything like that. I have a pretty wild style. Right now, I look a little plain, but tonight for the rave, people that are watching this video, you're going to see my clothes tonight, you know. So I like to go out when I can. Love to go out when I can like that. Other forms of self love. This is the hard part about making these videos without having like a note. I found that out from the second video that I wrote down all these notes and stuff like that. I would literally freeze up trying to read this, and then it's like, like I mentioned, I'm not a professional at all. I'm not an expert in any of this stuff. This is all stuff that I'm still learning how to do. You know, only got 2 years of sobriety under my belt, and I'm having to relearn how to be an entire fucking human, how to be an adult, how to be just a normal, really, because I spent majority of my life not being normal, under the effects of psychedelics, stimulants, alcohol, chasing some kind of feeling, you know, and all this stuff is just brand new to me. And I don't know. I'm getting more out of these videos than I think people are that are watching them. And I think that's all that really matters at the end of the day. I'm doing my part, trying to give back. It's hard to be a people person some days, you know. I guess that's part of self love too, right there, you know. I mean, making friends. That's kind of depressing. I think. I'm sorry, y'all. I think I'm gonna keep this one a little short, but I don't know. Work schedule is constantly changing. As of Monday, I will be working 7 days, Monday till Sunday. Wednesday is when the actual schedule changes again, and I'll be on my set schedule, starting work at 5 a.m. until 2 p.m. Fucking crazy awesome shift. I cannot wait to wake up that early in the morning. But yeah, things are going good. Learn how to self love. So it is. I think I talked about this in the last video, or I don't know if I uploaded that one. But yeah, I should not drink carbonated beverages before I make these videos. I forget when he put the album out. Snoop Dogg made a reggae album about 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago. And in the intro to the album itself, he said something around the lines of, the only way to give love, to get love, is to give love. And I want to be loved while I'm here. And I don't know. It's that's stuck with me for a long time. The album wasn't really too great, but that's an amazing line in my opinion. And I'm trying every day, you know, to learn how to love the man that I look at in the mirror, you know, because every morning I wake up, I'm restless, irritable, discontent with life. You know, I'm just angry at the fact that I gotta wake up, but I push through it. And I'm glad to say I'm not white knuckling this. I don't know. I wish I had more for you guys, but as time goes on, these videos will get a lot more eloquent. They'll get better. You know, I mean, I can already see some improvements from my first video to this one. I mean, just the fact that I'm staring at the camera, I'm getting more confident staring at the camera. And I don't know. Every day is about just trying to get better, 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 and better. And that's something I'm not going to give up on anytime soon, is trying to be a better person. So with that, hope you all have a great night, and hope you all had a great Halloween.